Hi, my name is Kara. I am a transformationalist in Arizona, and I wanted to talk today about value and identity. And this will be great, especially for somebody who is dealing with maybe a lack of drive or willpower or purpose, or, this is knowing our place on the planet and where we belong, and confidence. As well as what we're here to do, and multidimensionality, if that's a word, to how we can access our real self on a soul level. The sun is soul, SOL, and so is our soul. This resides right here in our solar plexus. This is where that energy resides. The sun is the center of the universe, as far as our solar system, but as well as our own as well. So this is where we get drive, and this is our source power, and our focus, and the sun feeds, it gives power and nutrients for growth to plants and planet Earth, right? Well, this is our source power as well internally. So this is a very transformational center, and where a lot of that happens. So as well as with an awakening, or coming into who you are or what you're here to do, it's a very transformational center and area, and part of that awakening as well. Our lower chakras, this is the lower dantian. This is where earth and the material and more ego-based chakras are. So these upper chakras are the subconscious and space and the unseen, kind of, and intuition. So we have intuition in our solar plexus as well, so that's like your gut feeling. But the heart chakra is in between the lower and upper realms, and when you have come into your power and your identity, it's even easier for the heart chakra to open, which is what's happening on this entire planet right now, and has been, but it happens in a main awakening for those who come into that at different times of our life. This is also about individuality. So this is, that will happen on each individual's timeline, but overall, collectively, there's a mass awakening and coming into our heart space and opening to who we are, which means we have to delayer what we are not. And, that's how we can access who we really are on a multidimensional level. So I made a little drawing here also. So if this is our soul, which is the center, everything on the outside, who we are told that we are, this is why, in order to come to your purpose, also with this mass awakening happening, many of us have been separated, or have either willingly or naturally, organically, have had to veer away from people that are not matching our frequency, because we're coming into tune with our real frequency. And we cannot, when we have all these false layers on us and around us, since that have been put onto us since we were born, sort of, this is also why you cannot listen to what anybody ever says on this planet, because guaranteed 100% of the time, if you already haven't been dealing with this throughout your life, I know I have, is, the more of an individual that you are, the more people are gonna have to say about what they think that you are, or try to tell you what you are or what you're not. And when you know your power, and when you know who you are, nobody can tell you shit. So it's really imperative that we know that. So if you've ever heard the way to master the universe or your life, basically, and what you do with it, the number one rule in esoterically as well, but it is know thyself. who we are. Although, for example, I say I am a transformationalist. That's a label. I'm not into labels, but that's what I am really good at doing and I've had to do many lifetimes, including many times in this lifetime. So I'm very familiar with it, but who we are is not what other people think that we are. It is not our title, our label, our job, our career, our experiences. Okay, so on a soul level, this is who we are. We all come to earth with nobody here on earth is here without some sort of mission or purpose whatsoever. We are here for soul evolution. So when, we are, in an underactive, if we're not in our power and our solar plexus is not shining as it should be, or we've lost our sunshine, which many have, because we have to delayer in this process as well, or because we've been through trauma or whatever it may be. But when we are coming to our true identity, we have to get rid of all these false layers. So, what people think that you are, and we often find who we even think that we are, or who we, or have been. We've had to also let go of that. And we have to deconstruct this, because we are nothing, that we have played out in this life oftentimes, when we come into our truth. So we have to just keep, layer by layer by layer, we keep coming more and more and more and more and more into our true selves, because this is all that we are. All this stuff, all this aesthetic, it's all a mask. Our body, our spacesuit is a mask in itself to our actual soul. And then, we put on these experiences that we've had, and, these things that we've dealt with, and the people and the things that we've done that put on this even more and more and more masks. But that's really not who we are. These are a mask. This filter is a mask. This whole entire body, and whatever we want to think that call ourselves, is really not who our soul is. So our soul is multidimensional. We can access who we are in so many different ways, or I should say express that in so many different ways. That's why a label is really not important. So the more you are into your individuality, and the more you come into that, or the more that you've been that, you always find that people will always have some nonsense to put on you about who they think that you are. But nobody will ever know who you really, really, really are on a soul level. Nobody will get you, not your brother, sister, not your parents, not your husband, wife. Nobody knows who you truly, truly are. The people that we experience in this lifetime is for our soul evolution and growth. And some of these people we agreed to meet in this lifetime with, or have had other experiences with in other lifetimes. And that's not always the case, but it is quite the experience. But it's easy to not get attached to that when we are familiar with that understanding, I should say. So individuality, so the frequency that that we hold, we are not meant to be like other people. We're not meant to do what other people are doing. So if you are looking to step into your power, the only way to do that is to get out of the box that society or you put yourself in, or other people around you have put you in. The successful ones in life is because they're not scared to vibrate at their frequency and be an individual. If we're just doing what other people are doing, or comparing ourselves to other, that's not going to get us anywhere. We're not supposed to match what other people are doing. There's zero comparison on this planet, or there shouldn't be anyways. You can really tell when somebody's in their not in their power because they do judge others. They compare themselves to others. If you are in your power, you are not comparing yourself to others because you know you are in your individual power. You know that you are not supposed to be doing what other people are doing. What your path is not supposed to be what their path is, even if you are in similar interests or have similar frequencies, certain parts of frequencies, I should say, because so where we are born, the frequency of the land that we're at, all land everywhere on earth, different areas and coordinates, or just different areas and land, and everything holds a different a type of frequency. And then with where the planets are aligned, the exact time that you are born with your name, every single human holds a very specific frequency of their own that is not to match anybody else's. The only way somebody else's frequency would match would be, or close to it, is if you are a twin, or if you have a twin soul on this planet. But that's a lot different, and both of those are far more rare. But most people, pretty much everybody, nobody has your exact frequency where, and the same exact name and time and just the frequency overall. So, when we are in our power and express our purpose, our frequency, what our soul is to learn, we're not scared to be that, and to jump out of the box that society tries to keep people in, then that is when we are able to attract the things that we want, the people that we want, the life that we want, and really be in our power and our purpose and feel great about life, because we are here doing what our soul is wanting to do. It's a very, very powerful feeling. But if we are feeling timid or insecure, or not really knowing what our purpose is, this is everybody on the planet that goes through this. There are ways to tell your purpose, but we have to delayer the things that are not our purpose. Many things that we even think that we are, we have to let go of to know who we really, really are on a soul level. We are ever changing. We can, if you've heard of timeline shifting and all that, in other dimensions, the timelines are extremely similar with just a few minor details that are off. It looks just alike. We don't really just jump into this other magical land. We're shifting frequencies, but when we have these layers on us that don't need to be here and are not who we are, and don't exist, and we're focused on that, that's going to keep us on that frequency. So if we are staying around people that are on the frequency of who we were at this point in time of our life, we can't shift to this other frequency because we are still in that frequency. And I just want to throw in here, when we sleep with other people, we pick up on their frequencies and their experiences. That's another way to get on other people's, to have things from other people's timelines put into yours, and vice versa. So it's a give take, of course, when we have relations with other people. So if we are not having the power and we're just tired, our sun is burnt out, or there's soul loss, and that's defragmented soul just put in other places and timelines, but it's not here. In order to come into our power, we an overactive sun center would also be being overconfident, or too much in the ego, or very too much action or exertion, or putting out too much, and then our sun gets burnt out, or we're just burning other people with our sun power or other situations because it's too forceful. So as with our entire energy center, we have to start at the root chakra. An imbalance in any chakra will have to be compensated, under or overcompensated by other chakras. So we always have to start at the root chakra no matter what, and that is the base. So what's happening on our planet is the structures of our planet are being broken down, right? The systems, and this is also our internal systems. So houses and systems and beliefs and relationships and lifestyles that are built on false or not solid foundations with solid walls and solid windows and solid everything is having to be broken down. So we can, some more than others, some have to be torn completely down to the bottom, and this is so we can rebuild with a strong foundation. This is happening on our planet collectively. I want to say no one is exempt from this, but everybody's personal path, individual path is different. Your path will not be the same as your family. Your path will not be the same. Now, given that families that are meant to stay together, if you aren't going through a lot of changes, it's because that's not supposed to happen at that time. And if you are going through a lot, it's so this can break down. We have to rebuild from the bottom, from the core, and that is the root, that is the base of the foundation, that is stability, financial, that is also healthy ego and confidence and all of that, right? So then the second chakra and energy center and foundation of our house is the sacral. That is a very sacred center also, and that is also sexuality. This is creativity. This is where emotions are held and managed and all of that as well. And then comes our solar plexus, and that is the sun. That is the willpower, that is acceptance, and that is your source power, your drive. These two, especially, I should say these three, the sacral, the willpower, and the heart, are big for manifestation also, but it's all based around the sun, where we get our power from. So this is our value. So when it comes to identity, this is the thing about identity, is that if you have children, this is something that many of us were not blessed with being focused and taught. And I think I want to really put a lot of energy into the idea of teaching children identity, and to be comfortable in their identity, how important it is, because most of us are stripped of our true identity, or we're told we're not what we are, or we're put on into a lot of false beliefs. And identity is something that we definitely learn, and all energies are forever changing in our life, within and through experiences. But as a child, this is something that around age 3 is where a baby or a toddler starts to understand that they have their own identity, that they are separate from others. And this is something that we really come into trying to form between ages 14 to 21, especially around there, you know what I mean? So, but this is something, and these are things this is stuff that we have to do our entire life. And then also within an awakening, we really, or time period, this is always in our life. This is a constant, but that we have to have balance here. But this is when we are coming into our identity. So if we are teaching children, at ages throughout their entire life or growing up, acceptance is a part of growing past. If you feel stuck, this is where you will want to focus on acceptance. And this is what I'm trying to relay also, is for children, or the youth, to be in acceptance of what and who we are. So acceptance is, this is my home. This is the situation I'm in. This is what happened. This is my family. This is the what I am into. This is who I am. Acceptance is key to all transformation. And in an awakening, I want to say it's around a little below the middle area. But acceptance is really, really key in individuality and in confidence and willpower and knowing who we are. Everything that we're born into is for a reason. So the family that we're born into, the status as far as financial, all that, the more trauma and everything that the more traumatic type of childhood that people have had will have to delayer more, because we have taken on other people's, being one who was born in a very broken home. I'm very, very familiar with the process of that as well, and a lot of times we know we're not who this is or who our family tells us we are, but this doesn't have to be a broken home. We know that we're not that. We know that this is not who we are, but it's really imperative that we're teaching children that, hey, this is who you are, because children who do not know or don't feel comfortable with this will try to seek outside identities that are not them. So this isn't something that I really dealt with so much, but I can tell you, being in the individual, in my individuality and being different, I have always heard stuff, and I imagine this goes for everybody, but the more different you are from everybody, the more shit you're going to get, and people will always have an opinion or something to say, right? So it's really important to teach your children that that's okay to be an individual. You're not supposed to be like everybody else. Even being older, I would, even working, I would see people outside of work and they'd be like, what? Like, you don't dress like that. They already have their own thoughts of who they think that you are. When, a lot of people be like, oh, you're really skinny. And it's like, that's your opinion. You're overweight. You know what I mean? Or, I know, like, even like types of food, I remember, like, I'd be like eating and they'd be like, you don't eat that. Like, everybody has a perception of what they think, and it stems from something in their individuality. But somebody who is in their self and is comfortable with who they are doesn't care what other people are thinking or eating or what they look like or what they're doing, right? So we're not comparing ourselves to what other people are doing. We don't care if somebody's skinny or not, or what they eat, or what their financial status is, or any of that. It doesn't matter, because anybody else's path has nothing to do with your personal path. Like I said, this is even when it comes to siblings or anybody in your family. Everybody in our life is to, either in a positive or seemingly negative way, help us grow. And this goes for everybody. So another thing that I do find very common is people that I have seen a lot, that people not realizing that it goes both ways when we cross paths with people. I will hear a lot of, obviously I'm here to teach them a lesson, or things like that. That's definitely another solar plexus imbalance right there, as well as root chakra, because everything, when we cross paths with people, this can be either even in a store, or that we overhear something or messages, but this is very common in especially romantic style relationships with, however it may be. But I do hear that a lot. I hear, well, clearly I was here to teach them a lesson. I'm here to teach them. And it doesn't work like that. Everything goes both ways. So the frequency that we're vibrating at, the other person has something similar in them. And that is why we come together with them and have crossed paths with them, whether it's somebody we know or not. To be in a centered, well-balanced individual place, you will be able to see that it's not personal. That's why somebody was the way that they were, or why you're in the situation. We know it is because it was to help us with our soul growth. and they did what they did, or had the experience they had, or perception that they have for their soul growth. Okay, so it's really easy when you're in your power to not take things too personal. There was something else I wanted to say. Okay, so like I was saying, how the sun and we have to delayer, another good way to visualize your value. So a lot of people come to, okay, I should say a lot of beings, a lot of species, okay, come to planet Earth and other planets to mine, okay? So digging for gold and for gem and crystals, right? So we are like crystals or, you know, other magical minerals. So, you know, crystals hold a lot of energies, and they are like libraries of stories, of experiences and things that have happened to build that crystal, for that crystal to form. I actually have some really magical stories I could tell you about crystals, and one experience in particular, I will probably just add this into maybe a past life video actually, but let's just say we can vibrate at frequencies of places we have been before. So I will get into that later, but different circumstances and the environments around us or around the crystals is what helps those form, right? As well as things like gold and diamonds, right? So diamonds, you know, we all know it's a lot of pressure and all that, right? Well, different, you know, the more experiences and the more journeys and the more, you know, types of everything environmental outside and within is what has built a crystal or other things to form. So that is the same as us, but when the beings and things who mine for the gems and the gold, you know, because they have value, well, a lot of people are mining or looking for value and trying to mine those things in other places outside of themselves. So the value and our value is really within. So when we are looking for our soul purpose and what we're here to do, and we're trying to make a financial gain off of it, this is why they say finding your passion and what you're into. That's why people say that, because that is when your sun is shining and you came into your power. That is your value. Your value is not a label, it is not a career path, it is not anything, it is your value. When you find your value, you can offer your value to others. So like other, you know, people and things come here to mine and take from Earth, but we are not here to take from Earth, okay? We are here to give, for sure. We are here to offer. So when we are able to offer value, the richness, when we know our value and what's within us and what we have to offer, because we have mined and done the digging within ourselves, when we know our value, we can offer our value to others, and people cannot take away from our value because we are very familiar with what that is. So this also goes, so with love, if we're giving from a place of love or, you know, any value, this is when we can manifest and create the long-term, truly fulfilling lifestyles and, you know, the financial, the monetary gain in the families or the friendships or whatever it is that we want. We will be more fulfilled the more we are know our value and we're offering our value. So when we're giving love, love is giving. Earth is love. Green, Mother Gaia, and water. This is love. This is when love is not giving, love is not taking. But when we are able to give love of value, then we will get that in return. But if we're giving, if we're offering, if we're doing work that doesn't offer any value or isn't of our value that will offer value to others, that's when we will get less receive less in return. And this goes along with love. So love isn't about taking, love is about giving. So just like when people give gifts, are you giving a gift that is for them or something that you think is cool that they have? And this goes along with love language. So when we are giving, I just made another video about that, but when we're giving from a place of lack and a place of something that we need, that's not giving love. If we know our value, we're able to give people things that they need and that they want. Because, so that's when we will see a return, because we're able to give value. When we want value, we have to be able to give value. So if we're trying to, work our way, our confidence, if we're trying to attract money or a soulmate or experiences in this life that are on a level up here, and we're on a level down here, we can't stay around a level down here. So many people who were born into poverty, as I was, you cannot, they say you have to break free. You have to internally know your value and worth. This is how we elevate to up here. And it's really difficult to do when everything around you, when the walls, the people, your lifestyle is all in, lack, which is also an inner feeling and knowing. This is our confidence. Confidence is not material stuff, but it can be difficult to break that out of that when everything surrounding you is like that. So that's why they say to hang around like millionaire or, people that are hang around people that are on the status that you want to be at. We can do that to an extent, but it's just material stuff, then it's not going to really work so well. Confidence is not an external thing. That is ego. So if we're trying to manifest and create out of a lack of power and value and love or anything of substance, our richness of our soul is the value that we have. And we will find that in our true soul identity, which doesn't have a label. There is no box. So the way to get into our power is something that I would offer in a personal session, of course, but in general, the way that we would do that is by letting go and releasing any beliefs that we've ever had about anything that we have been taught. We really have to start with a fresh mind, and like as if we were a baby, because the things that we're taught, the experiences that we've had, all that is not who we are, but it has helped shape us to know and to learn things that we need to know to be in our purpose. So on a multidimensional level, we can find who we are, but so I also am familiar with like life cycles and karma and all that, right? And soul purpose, dharma. So when we're looking to come into our purpose, we don't have to have one way to express that. But overall, we will likely have something, the experiences that we've had or were born into and things that we've had really difficult times with, when we have overcame those, we can help share with others how to do that as well. So that oftentimes will be part of our purpose, but it doesn't necessarily mean. So for example, if somebody was born into a family of bad health or addiction or anything like that, or that's experiences that someone had as a child, or growing up throughout life, or something that they really struggled with, they can, if once we have overcome that, we can help others, teach others how to do that. But you can do that in a multitude of ways. You don't have to be a counselor. You don't have to be a mentor or a teacher. There can be other ways to express yourself and your art and your individuality. So there's not one exact path that you have to choose. But when we are in our purpose and in, what our mission is here to do, it definitely helps make this process in life so much easier than doing things that are not part of who we are or what we are, or what we're into. And, so people who have lost money and started businesses may find, helping others build businesses beneficial or fulfilling to them. A lot of times the things that we have struggled with are things that are going to make us who we are, but this is not, help us on our purpose in life, but it is not who we are on a soul level. We are all here to offer something to this planet. We all have something to offer. We're all needed here, and we are all different. We are not supposed to match what other people are doing. Even if other people were to be a counselor or a teacher or whatever it is, an artist, somebody who writes, who does coding, it can be anything, anywhere. We're not supposed to look like them doing it the way that they do it. So the idea is to come into our purpose. Even if people went through similar experiences, it will help to have that support on our path. But the idea is to find our own way to do that on our own, with ourselves. We were born in the time we were, the planets that were in alignment when those planets are moving throughout, that will affect what's going on in our life at that time. An astrology chart really helps. There are ways you can tell an astrology chart. There are things that will show things that have passed on into this lifetime, from a past or from parents and ancestors, and also where directions that, there are quite a few points in an astrology chart that will also help guide and show direction on soul purpose and path. And it's like a blueprint. So at that time that we were born, in that place that we were born, with the name that we were born, and where the planets were at that time, it's like a blueprint. So there is a map that has some direction. There's certain things that are going to happen no matter what, and need to play out on our path and mission here. So it really is a pretty magical universe. There are zero mistakes. To come into our own self is what we are here to do, and it does require, as an adult, to delayer and let go of the past things that was who we were then. But in order to shift to places we can be what we want, we can express things how we want, but ideally there will be some sort of, or at least a couple different things that are really, really into who we are, and that has to do with our purpose or what we want. You can choose, but it's your heart will kind of keep calling you and your soul into at least a certain idea, but how you express it is up to yourself, really. So I want to see if there's anything else I want to cover. And like I said, if you do have children and you do feel stuck, acceptance is a really big thing. Acceptance in who you are, individuality. You're not supposed to be like other people. You're not supposed to be doing what they're doing, acting like they're acting, where they're at, any of that. It doesn't matter. And I'm trying to think. So meditation is great, but for this particular chakra and power and building that and cleansing and for energy and oxygen, but breath work is amazing, but specifically, especially for this chakra more than any other, I feel. So breath work, however you want to find YouTube videos, go to a class, whatever it takes, but that is where you can really build that power for that chakra. So meditation, inner child healing to release who you thought that you were and experiences that you had. That's not who you are on a soul level. We have to go through these things. And, eating a lot of yellow foods and bananas, anything yellow, that was made from earth, not processed food. The energy, this is a energy source right here. The energy that we hold, the foods we eat, if we're eating processed, dead, tortured, stagnant food, that is how energy is produced in our body, or blocked, because the food, how our food digests, is also a big source of energy. So high energy, high vibrational food, which is going to be more fresh food, fruits and vegetables, things like that. So that's going to help with the energy too. So meditation, getting sunlight, and even if it's wintertime, the sun rays go to your cells. I cannot even elaborate that on enough. In your DNA, you can sun gaze, you close your eyes and look up at the sun, even if it's the cloudiest day in the world and you live somewhere like that. So meditation and breath work, definitely for the solar plexus chakra. And you really have to block out anything that anybody says ever about anything. It doesn't matter if somebody is trying to tell you what they think you should be doing. I mean, I'm telling you, down to everything. If somebody's constantly, especially that person just shouldn't stay in your life. I had somebody who, even if it came down to me being like, oh my God, I'm going to get this car. You don't want that car. Anything anybody's saying is a reflection of what their non-individuality or their insecurities or their perception of what they think that you are. So you cannot listen to anybody on this freaking planet who's trying to say what they think you should be doing. So you have to block any of that out if you are trying to come into your power. They do not know your soul path, your soul mission. That's between you and God. Within you, this is your source, and only you are in control of that. So if you do feel that you are at a loss and a lack of drive and a lack of willpower, eat better, do breath work every single morning, and mirror work. You got to talk to yourself. You have to tell yourself this. There is no comparison. Our lesson, our path here, that is between you and yourself. It's between me and myself, nobody else. There is no comparison. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. And I think that's going to be it. So, building confidence, all of this is an inside job. Our soul purpose is an inside job. Your purpose is not going to be the same as anybody else's exactly. We are all here for a reason, and that is an individual reason, and to express our individuality in the way that we want to express it. We can dress how we want, we can look how we want, we can do whatever we want. All that's outside external material nonsense. This is all inside work right here. So happy healing to anybody, and more power to you, and I hope you like this video.